Robinson. They call me Jay.
This is Michael Jeffrey. They call me Mike Jeff.
This is Logan Barnes, and they call me Pounds.
This is Vince Smith, and they call me Vinny.
And this is The Last Dab.
Hey, did you specifically put on Bernie Lo-Fi?
Oh, he just popped up, and I put him on.
He pops up everywhere.
He's everywhere.
He's just chilling. I just watched The Joker, the newest one. Because Courtney hadn't seen it.
It's good.
Sitting on the subway laughing.
Yeah, he's
Is that? Yeah, that's the subway.
You got a fucking problem, dude? He's like, no.
You know what's crazy? In this, if you think about it, like every villain, or any type of even bad person.
Finish this, but have you seen the Snyder Cut new fucking...
No, I didn't watch that yet.
We could have gotten
No, we're going to. I just wanted to make sure.
No, but they've been done dirty before, so
many times.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it was someone who's just upright, just evil.
There is never... That's the thing. There can't
Unless
be
you're
evil.
the Omen.
There can't be evil without good. So with that being said, you've never gotten any good. You've never received any good. What else can you be? Granted, that's not an excuse, but
I was telling Courtney that when we were watching it, because she was like, "Wait,
look at Joke." That's what I'm saying. Look at
like,
it.
is he even a villain in this? I was like,
how do you look at it?
Are the people who fucked with him the villains?
Exactly.
And they created this monster?
Kill someone
I didn't ruin it, but I
curve.
told her, I was like, you gotta wait for the end because it shows
exactly how Batman starts. Yeah. He wasn't even really the Joker. He just kind of like...
we all knew that his parents got killed in that alley, but we've never
actually saw how it
where
was.
they showed what led up to that and why it happened.
And most people who don't actually know about shit would be like, "Oh, the Joker killed him." But obviously,
and how crazy would it have been
shows it
if Joker was legitimately his brother?
Right, but then they showed it wasn't. But he's so insane that he wouldn't accept it.
Yeah,
that's. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Telltale story games.
I gotta charge my fucking thing.
What it is it's those games where it goes through the story and then you can pick and choose the character, and it's not a whole lot of you moving them around, but it's more of picking those choices and a little bit of movements and stuff in there. But the Batman one's really cool, and because there's so many different I like how in DC Universe and Marvel how they can go into different realms of so there's different Earths in DC and shit, and then you're looking at Marvel and they got so many multiverses.
Yeah, they're starting to explore that in the WandaVision right now. They're starting to explore different multiverses.
Which I did get caught up on. I'm missing the episode 6 though.
It's pretty good.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's really good.
I was supposed to today, and we ended up
It's like
watching.
Malcolm in the Middle kind of shit. It's pretty good. I was just Cody just sent a fucking video of Malcolm in the Middle intro.
Great show.
Yeah, you're not the boss of me now. Going through.
You're not so big.
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about superheroes and stuff. I didn't grow up watching a lot of it, but I have been watching some cool videos on YouTube lately that talks about how a lot of the people that have written for the Marvel and DC series, especially the Superman, they actually use a lot of the supervillains. If you actually listen to some of the things they say, they actually use a lot of words that Yahweh, the Old Testament God, would have used. And one of the people who had written for Superman was talking about how he wanted to use his platform to push Gnostic ideas. And if you know anything about Gnosticism, it's the whole idea that really God is the bad guy who enslaved humanity and Earth, and that Satan, Lucifer, came to enlighten man, which is kind of the idea of Gnosticism in a whole. And so the idea is, in a lot of the superhero movies, they use the villain quoting a lot of things that the Old Testament God had used, and then the superheroes, we don't notice it, but it's almost like they are the demons, the bad guys that we almost look up to because they're saving us from the apocalypse.
There's a lot of hidden stuff that they do with Marvel and DC for sure.
And they're keeping the end game from happening.
Right.
Pretty much.
Look at Christopher Reeves.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Poor guy got roasted by Slim Shady too many times. But it's crazy because he's playing the figure of Superman, Man of Steel, can do anything or whatever. And not saying that necessarily has to do with what happened, but I mean, look at him now. He cannot walk. Like he.
A little bit of irony.
Right. It's just, but I see what you're saying, especially watching The Boys. Like after seeing,
I haven't seen it yet. I want to get into it.
I haven't seen that.
Oh
yet
my
either.
gosh, dude!
Yeah,
The Boys.
I've been wanting to watch that.
That's
I've
the
been
bad
stuck on
superhero.
Sopranos still.
Yeah, but it's like an adult superhero.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like the
they're
bad
still
superhero.
honored as superheroes,
But they do whatever the fuck they
it's
It's
want.
a
as if-
comedy, damn near.
Think of like they're just like they're like normal people like us, except just with a little bit of abilities. So I mean, people are obviously have many flaws, and they go and this. So it's like the superheroes go through this. Some are good, some are kind of bad, but their actual intentions aren't what their superhero persona is supposed
It's
to
just
be.
like, okay, sometimes I can be good if I want to, or sometimes I'll fucking do this. If
Watch
I
what
want.
happens
Just
when I'm
bad
drunk.
and
Yeah.
portray to be good. Like, look at me and be cocky little shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's good though. It's good stuff.
That's more realistic. And kind of what Coffee was
doubt,
saying.
no
Like
doubt.
the superhero movies, it's almost like these people are like gods, and it's like that can't happen if they are humans
But I mean, when you
with powers. You know what I mean? They have
kind
to
of
fuck
like,
up.
aren't we going to be able to get to that point at some point with like the Neuralink and everything that we want to get? You know, all the superhuman
Tell me
abilities
about
that we're kind
that,
of getting
Neuralink.
into, kind of the
I was gonna say
transhumanism.
that's the hope, I think,
Right.
to be able to get to that level. But
What's
that's
Neuralink?
kind of
That's
weird.
like a project Elon Musk is working on to be able to put a chip, like not a chip, but like a computer receptor inside your brain that links to like a Wi-Fi data, like a database through Wi-Fi,
shit.
so
like
I can be
in
connected to
Kingsman,
something. Yeah.
where they put it in the neck and you get free calls. Free
He said
Wi-Fi
at first they
and
want to start out to where
That's a
That's a
steal.
stogie, bro, right there.
it'll
It's
it'll
kind of
help,
running, but
it'll help people with brain injuries, so that like people with spinal cord injuries or people blind, deaf, people with strokes, people with epilepsy.
could you
it'll-
imagine healing blindness?
Yeah, like
Things that have just just struck in people
And
for
then
all
eventually-
of mankind.
I can only hope.
And it's like
my right eye.
there's only like good
Yeah.
there's only good ideas for that right now. The Neuralink, it's like, oh yeah, it would help everyone. But then it's like you gotta address the elephant in the room. When is it gonna be taken too far? Who's gonna take it
I
and
can read
use
your
it?
thoughts.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's even if you think about it. If we just trust our doctor, say everybody, go to the doctor. You need to get checked out. You need to get you need to go to the doctor if you're feeling ill or something. But with a lot of the times, I feel like what is their end game too is pharmaceuticals. So I mean, not their end game. Sorry,
Right.
I shouldn't say that because not everybody's just being a nurse or being a doctor to screw someone over. But how their system works is that they're going to try to get you medicated and on
Yep.
something else. But these things have side effects too.
Right.
So that's the same play. You know what I mean? You could go and trust them, or at the same time, you could be one of those people who never really even go to the doctor and just let shit fly however it goes, So
we're all gonna end up being cyborgs, probably.
Probably. We need to introduce our first real guest that's wasn't on a fight night or a Super Bowl. So first real guest, Sabrina Coffee.
Round of
Nick
applause.
Coffeeberry, Doctor.
we got the job.
Thank you
up
very
in
much
there.
for the
Coffee.
opportunity.
Dr. Coffee.
What are you, bro? You Doc Rose?
I'm as much of a doctor as Dr. Pepper. But
It's popping, man.
yeah,
As much as Dr. Phil.
Our doctor of dystopia.
Yep, yeah, definitely. We're gonna have to definitely get into that shit.
Let's get around. I think we all know you from the same shit.
Yeah, I
Yes.
met you in like 8th grade, I think, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody would have met me
Seventh grade.
around 7th to 8th grade. So
Did you
See,
move here?
yeah, I actually lived here before in 3rd grade. I went to Harney.
See, I worked
Right
with
on.
you at the Sugar Bowl. You remember that,
Yep,
right?
definitely.
We had some good
Just
times up
washing
there,
some
brother.
dishes. I got fired for throwing eggs at the neighbors.
Yeah. Literally,
Some kidding shit.
we never worked there for the most part. We just
Right.
sat in the back and vaped and got high for the most part.
Literally.
And literally, he got fired for throwing eggs at the neighbor building. Like,
How is that a bad thing? No
I
one
don't
wants to
even
go
remember
to a
what
building that has
brought it
eggs.
up.
It's okay if you throw it at our building, but
It was
it's
in-
another thing if it's our
They said
neighboring
that they had
building.
just painted the building. That's why they were so upset.
That's an
It's like,
excuse.
fuck
I
you.
remember that. I remember that happening.
Yeah, dude,
I can go
But-
clean it up if you really want me
get a
to. I
power
was just having
washer,
fun.
just fucking clean it off. Like,
Yeah,
fuck
man, some ignorant stuff, man. We all done it. But anyways, yeah. So I lived here up till 3rd grade, and then I moved to Florida for a little while. And
I didn't know that.
yeah, my dad actually went and started his own roofing company right when all the hurricanes were going through Florida, like
Yeah, that was big money.
a while ago. That dried up though. We're obviously he's not going to be able to do the same thing forever, but eventually we ended up moving back to Indiana in 7th grade. The first kind of people that I ever even seen here was Logan. You were one of them.
Hey.
Where
at? Do you remember?
No, actually, no, I would have no idea. But I do remember Anthony Julian. Shout out.
Shout out, Ant.
I hated him when we first moved here because you guys kept fucking with me. You guys were like, welcome to New York.
Because he looks like 50.
I didn't know the context at all. I just kept hearing welcome to New York. I was like, screw these guys. But yeah, fast forward, got into high school, and still didn't really hang out with anybody here. But Logan had moved back from, I think, were you here in Brownsburg?
Avon.
I had went to Fisher's for a little bit.
That's right. That's right.
Gotcha. And yeah, and whenever Logan had moved back, he kind of just talked to me like we had always known each other, and kind of just hit it off from there. Same with you, Vince. I met you back in middle school, but I didn't really know of you much. I remember, I don't know if you remember the fight story, whenever you had called me up one day. I was sitting on my buddy's couch, and I get a call from Vinny, and he's like, hey, man,
I remember this.
I'm about to go fight. I can't even remember who the guy
Jonathan, I forget his
I
fucking
can't
last
remember,
name.
right. But yeah, I get a call, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm about to go fight this guy. But I don't know if he's got his roommates with him, so. I was like,
Yeah,
man,
what? I don't know why.
Right? It was weird because I
Random.
mean we knew each other, but we
Yeah.
weren't like we didn't hang out outside of school much at all. But yeah, so I
I
ended
throw
up,
on Tech 9. I fucking blasted.
Coffee's war ready.
Worldwide chopper.
Yeah, Coffee said, I'm down. Let's go.
and well, the funny part is he gets through the fight, stomped the dude out. Dude, I remember he was telling people that he got jumped by like 2 or 3 people at school. But
I got on top of him. That's
Vince slept him.
he said that's enough.
it was
That's enough.
bad. Yeah, and I was like,
Who said?
I was like, you
Yeah,
won.
I put me off of him. He's like, man, I tried to record it with my phone right now.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get to. I was like,
"Damn
that's the worst part, man. I had my phone out recording it the whole time. I didn't see the notification saying that I didn't have any more memories. So the world will never get to see that one.
Take our word for it.
Yep, it was
What
a
a
good
miracle moment between
That's the
you
only
guys.
fight
That's
I've ever
awesome.
been in.
Yeah, it was a good
That's
fight.
how you gain friendship right there.
That's the only fight I've ever been in outside of like boxing or anything.
We're
Gotcha.
gonna do a rematch here.
Oh, you actually do boxing? Heck
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And then Jay,
I was.
I don't. Jay, where did you move to Lebanon, or have you always been here? I just
I don't want to say all that.
gotcha.
No. I got people out there looking for me.
Said the heat is real, man. That's why I left.
Come right back, and then I leave again.
No, I've been here my whole life up until just moved recently, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Trying to
Dive into the Bibbery Bake.
I'm trying to trying to think. Definitely like from school, you know. But I wonder, is there any times that you like significant memories? Because I definitely don't have a fight story.
I remember taking you home the last
Yeah.
semester. Remember, because I worked at Ulan. Like I
Every
gotta go
day.
to work, and
Every other day.
I can take you home because we had study hall together the last.
No, I think it was
Oh.
weights. I think it was weights.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep.
Now
That's
I remember
right.
we had Casey's class together.
That's
Dude,
right.
I remember stapling my arm and stuff.
We did.
He stapled Coffee's
We
arm.
said, "Don't do it! Don't do it!" Click.
But as far as specific memories, I mean that was a good one. With you, Jay, though, I just I remember middle school. A lot of the memories are obviously right in 7th grade from when I moved here. But I just remember being in gym class was the first time that I really remember meeting you. I can't remember what friends that I had at that time, but I just remember that everybody was always cool with you. I mean, you were able to just get along with everybody. That's one thing that I always was able to remember about you. I mean, I don't think that I've ever heard of anybody that you had a problem with.
He's
that
a
I know
people
of.
person.
I'm
Definitely.
a people person.
And then, yeah, like Mike Jeff said, we had a job over at the Sugar Bowl together.
Well, I think ours started through Brock.
Yeah.
And just getting fucked up.
Right.
Together
Right.
with Brock. And then after that, yeah, we ended up working together at the Sugar Bowl, which, dude, we had a lot of
What's the
fun.
Sugar Bowl for people that don't know?
Oh man.
It was an old ass restaurant
Yeah, it was
back
like
in the day in Lebanon, and then they reopened it, like I don't know, what was that, 7-8 years ago?
Yeah, it would have been
Like,
probably about 2015 actually.
Well, they reopened it. It was like they've always been known for like homemade ice cream. Like it was like a
Fire banana ice cream.
oh dude,
I love banana ice cream, like fresh.
There was
yeah,
actually
like
bananas in it.
homemade.
Get me
Like,
bananas in my cream, please.
But it was really cool. Like you go in there to make a drink. Like it wasn't like your fountain drinks. Like we had to hand make the soda.
With the syrup. You
like add the carbonation with syrup, like old school.
guys are doing science in there.
Yeah, like it was fun. You can go in there and get a cherry lime, orange grape, fucking
that sounds good.
Sprite, like all in one. Like
Oh,
just
I
crazy.
love
cherry
stuff.
Sprite.
Give me every flavor.
We did all kinds of crazy shit.
Oh, yeah,
there.
Whipping it up like Heisenberg up in there.
I remember back then was when we used to do the vapes a lot, and
Yeah.
I remember Malachi Van,
Cam.
Cameron Crow. You guys were all just crazy with the builds that you guys did. I
Oh, yeah,
I
we
never
were,
got into
we
it.
were
but
diehard into vapes at that time. We'd go literally, like I said, we'd go there and we could line this table up from front to back with fucking like $150 plus vapes.
Damn.
Like we all we could fill the restaurant with smoke. Like when we'd close down the stores, we'd straight up just fucking vape it up in there. Dude, it was a smoke fest in there.
You know who got a smoke fest last night? Fucking
Dude,
Burns.
Burns got the smoke.
My
All the
man got
smoke
the
from
fucking
Usman.
smoke. Hey, but who watched it the whole way?
I also
Anyone?
I
watched
watched
it.
the highlights this
Okay,
morning.
so
watched
me
it
and
together.
Dylan, oh
Bro,
wait,
I was
fuck,
with you, bro.
Jared was
Said
there.
I also watched it.
Jared was there. I've been eating a little too many edibles.
I
my
feel like
guy.
I'm in the same position that I was in that room.
You
matter
were.
of fact. Like,
And
Are
I'm
you
like,
okay?
where I am.
Are you okay, space-wise?
no, yeah, I'm great.
Yes, he was there last night. So we did watch the smoke that
Yeah.
was
Jab
created.
City was what was that one was about. Dylan called that. He's like he needs to start utilizing that jab because
He's got
out the
strong
gate Burns
jab.
like rocks Usman, and Usman's got he looks like a Stonehenge.
He said it was.
Yeah.
He said it was slippery afterwards. Like the cage was slippery. He slipped and caught himself after he caught that right hand from.
Oh, so he said he slipped right there.
Yeah. Oh, he said he got
I saw
dropped, but
one,
He
there was
slipped
a
also
slip.
and caught himself.
He did not actually fall. You're right.
Yeah.
He did catch himself. I thought he was rocked though. And,
Yeah, he said he was. He said it. He hits hard.
Burns
Yeah, he
surprised
gotta
me.
hit hard.
I honestly thought it was gonna be like a one-way story. I thought it was gonna be Usman controlling the fight the whole time, and Burns actually showed up. And I mean, Usman worked for it though. You know what I mean? He's champ for a
dude.
reason, and he literally is a stone, dude. He's a body.
He said I took that personally. He wanted to come take my food.
He
wanted
said,
to come
"I'm a
take stuff
whole-
from my plate."
I'm a whole nother savage.
Then whenever they like approach each other to like glove up and shit. I mean, it was like they announced Bruce Buffer announced their names, and then immediately Usman like comes walking up, and Burns comes walking up, and it was intense like in there, and like
Burns tried to kind of dap him up a little bit. Usman was in his fucking face.
Well, they talk shit before
One of the best fights I've ever seen. Colby and Usman. Man,
yeah,
that's a
dude.
great fight.
That was a
They
war.
throw hands.
Colby's face afterwards, Jesus Christ.
I was very pleased after that fight. I want
Broke his
everybody
jaw.
to-
Yeah.
Broke the man's jaw.
I remember.
what-
I remember Donald Trump was like trumping, or not trumping. He was.
That's
he was
okay.
trumping.
Everything.
Yeah.
Donald Trump was jumping everything.
No, he was tweeting about Kobe, and
That
like even
is
brought him
trumping.
into the White House before that fight.
He did, didn't he?
Because
He did.
Kobe like diehard shouted out Trump all the time.
Yeah.
He always had the American flag, and he always wore the magma hat or whatever, the Make America
The
Great.
magma hot.
Magma.
Donald's wearing a
Magnesium
magma.
hat.
His own.
Who else fought on that card? Because I don't.
Oh, Kelvin Gastelum fought.
Yeah,
got a
yeah,
win
that's
after
the one
3
I was looking
losses.
for.
Yeah.
It's good to see Kevin Gus.
It was a very close fight.
That was a long fight card,
It was.
but it was action packed. Like it was.
Yeah.
It was
Who
good
did he lose to?
battles.
Who did Gaslam
Yeah.
lose to? The previous fights?
No, this one. I knew he lost the previous.
No, Gaslam won.
He
this
won.
one.
Oh, he did?
Right.
It was a
Okay, fuck
decision.
that.
It was a
Fuck yeah.
decision this time, wasn't it?
Yes.
Barely. It was a close fight.
I like that.
It happened
I like
yesterday, but I forgot.
It's crazy. It feels like so long ago. What happened?
Literally, it was 12 hours ago. That's why I forgot you were there.
that. So I don't remember only 3 hours at a time. And then we got the next UFC.
Oh my
pay-per-view.
God. That might be fight night number 2.
No, I'm pretty sure
It is gonna be fight night
The
number
3
two.
belt one, is that the one you're talking about?
That one's coming up soon, isn't it?
I think the 3 belt one. Yeah, it is.
That's the
Yeah, you're
March.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The March event.
That's fight night number
It's gonna
2.
be- yeah, that's gonna be fight night number 2 for sure. We got 3 belts on the line that night. You got the woman, not the straw weight. What is it? The heavier women class.
Fly?
No,
Burlesque.
There's who's it? Nunez. There's
Heavy
Valentina
flesh.
Shevchenko. There's
but it's the heavier class. It's not the 120 or 115 or whatever.
Can you call women heavy?
It's
I
not
don't.
Holly Holm, is it? It's not Holly.
No, she's an out of it, bro. I don't even think she fights anymore.
She's retired.
Vince would know.
Yeah.
No, I don't think she does.
So wait, what do you?
Is it
You're looking
banter?
for the weight classes?
Just look up the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It should be on here somewhere on the UFC pages.
This fight card was really about people trying to
Go back
earn
up.
their position. I feel like, and I feel like it has been like that lately. A lot of fighters
UFC 259.
having
Just look it
to
up.
earn their position back, or they lose it. Kind of like
Yeah, I've
pay-
never understood any of how the UFC is set up. Honestly, like how do
they
you get
decide
to,
who's who?
Yeah, I mean, how do they get ranked?
Look
I
it
mean,
up on
what-
Google.
it does
Alright,
does it
the
start
rankings
with?
and everything? Yeah, I'm not too sure about that.
Do you
myself.
start out like obviously with the Ultimate Fighter, the show? That's like their entrance, how to get on,
Yeah,
or
the top contenders, what you get,
okay.
and then they'd give you a chance at an actual UFC fight. That was really cool. That show, Dana White and Matt Starrow travel the world looking for the best fighters.
Looking for a fight.
Yeah. Yeah, Blackowitz and Adesanya, and then the other two.
That's the last style bender
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah. That's the fucking the biggest name in UFC.
He damn near might be the best right now, like ever.
Okay.
Some
And he's
people
getting
hate
there.
on him, no, but you always have some.
You gotta hate fucking greatness. Duh.
There's balance.
So go down and see the other two.
Let's look at the rest of the
championship
fight
fights.
card.
I remember my buddy Joel telling me about Izzy before he came, like as he was coming into the UFC, like because he followed kickboxing a lot. Because Izzy came to kickboxing, he's like, man, this guy's gonna be a killer. Just wait till he starts picking people apart, and then
It's
It's
crazy
what
because how
happens with
talented
Jon.
he was with the kickboxing, and then now how far he's excelling with his ground game.
Jan throws hands though, man. He throws
Yeah.
power.
Ooh, he throws him fucking haymakers.
Polish
Izzy
power.
reminds me of like that Family Guy episode where they're like it's the super long legs and they don't have the arms. You know what I'm talking about? Those
Yeah.
guys like his
Yeah.
fucking legs are just.
I like Amanda Nunes. Is that how you pronounce
Nunes.
it? Nunes.
Yeah.
She's a scrapper,
She's
bro.
a savage.
She's a fucking
Savage.
scrapper.
Who is
She
this
reminds
Megan
me of
Anderson?
Cyborg.
And then
She-
Peter Yan. He's a scrapper too.
I do like Aljamain Sterling though,
He-
but
I'm-
that's gonna be a good fight.
I'm interested to see what Dylan thinks about that fight, the Jan fight, because
Yeah.
I really don't think Sterling's gonna be able to get him. He's a fucking beast, but I don't think he's gonna. Be
Out
able
of
to beat
all
Jan.
those people right there, Coffee, who do you think you could beat up?
I'm
You can
gonna go
choose a
with the-
woman.
I'm gonna go with the flat top.
You're going with
Sterling.
I doubt that I could actually beat him, but yeah, I'm gonna go with that
Out
one.
of all of them, he
wanna
said
know
even
who
the
I'm
females look scary.
yeah, I'm about to face Megan Anderson.
Yeah, Amanda
Dude, she's
Nunes
tall
would
as
beat.
fuck.
both
She's
of them.
taller than shit.
She looks like a fucking alien. Look at her face. It's scaring me.
Which one?
Megan.
Megan.
She's tall.
Yeah, she's really
She's
tall.
gotta be tall. Look at her.
She knocked me out, dude.
She was one fucking kick.
I don't care.
Happy
as long
Valentine's
as I'm
Day.
getting paid. If I'm getting paid, I'll fight.
Hell
every one of
yeah.
them. Let me fight Izzy for fucking 10 grand a second.
You're walking out with brain
I feel like
damage.
that would hurt. Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't understand how people sit there and take punches like repeatedly
Right.
for multiple
They're
minutes.
trained
Man.
athletes.
It's one thing like
fucking
getting in a
crazy.
street fight with your buddy down the road, like, you know, or,
But dude, when you
fighting
get
your stepbrother in the backyard to some Guns N' Roses, but this is something else.
but when you do like step in a ring and like you choose that you're about to do it, and then the other guy has chosen that he's about to do it, and it's cool that it's like all
Very
right, so it's like
intense.
it's about to go down. You know what I mean?
Consensual.
It doesn't have to. Oh yeah.
It's like a mutual thing, though. You're like, all right, we're about to do this.
Right, and man, it's crazy because after the Usman and Burns fight, Burns, like, he was down, like, he was crying,
Bawling.
like, fetal position crying, but then, like, it was weird because I could see Usman, and Usman started, like, tearing up too. He had his lip,
They were
like,
He
he's
started
like,
choking up
Okay.
and talking about that.
Yeah, it's
in
crazy.
the press conference.
just how emotional and how invested it becomes, like,
Well, like
as soon as, like,
Khabib, his last fight, how
But-
emotional that was for him.
Oh yeah.
well, with
Just
his
you
dad
could see
passing
it.
as
Oh,
well.
Even
yeah,
me not
yeah.
being a huge fan of him, like I could see it, like, just the amount of time and effort and shit they put into this sport. To see him go down to his knees immediately after damn near killing a man, like, it was just like, goddamn, these dudes are some of the realest motherfuckers. It's the most disciplined sport there is. There's no other sport in the
Guaranteed.
world
That's crazy.
that'll teach you as much discipline as this.
But so yeah, what Coffee's question was, like, how could someone sit there and take that, like, beating
Right,
and
yeah,
stuff?
just repetitively over and over, round after round after round. That's
There's also
crazy.
something weird that it's like is it not? Do you not kind of like it too, though? I don't know. Like,
It's
something
instinct.
about it is like you
It's
get
part
popped and
of
it's
who
like,
we
damn,
are.
What am I?
It's
You know,
part
gotta
of the
protect
animal
here.
inside of us. It's
I don't know.
part of the animal that.
and that's
Yeah,
that's
like-
that is what interests
There's
me
nothing
about
like
it. I
there's
do
nothing
think
like landing like a counter shot. They're like, I read it right. Boom,
Yeah.
I landed it. Like, oh, okay, I got this. And then you start landing like a couple. You start rolling, and then you start building upon that. Even like if you're taking shots, like, oh, I'm still working my game
Cody
plan.
Garbrandt is super fun to watch when it comes to counters. Like, he's had some of the nicest counter punches I've ever seen.
Well, we were talking about Iggy, man. Israel Adesanya. What is this?
Hold the button.
He said, "What is this? Hold the button." So
Izzy's counter shot against Whitaker.
do it.
You gotta pee in it.
Izzy's counter shot against
it'll vibrate
Whitaker.
for you.
When he steps back,
See that little button?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
See that little
you see
button?
his face crumple.
Oh,
Oh, it's all good.
so we all do it.
We've done it before.
You just taught me, so I just hit the button. And
No, not
someone
no,
gets
that button.
See that?
Oh, not that.
I don't think the
That's a
last.
card.
I don't think the last episode we talked about Sandhagen's KO of Edgar.
Oh,
Nasty KO.
yeah, that was insane.
Sandman slept
Oh,
him.
the fucking knee?
Ow.
Yeah, I don't think we
Alvarez.
talked about his last episode.
That was scary, bro.
He did that to Alvarez, dude.
That was
I want to
scary.
see him fight TJ. I think they're
That
working on
would've-
Uriah Faber versus TJ though.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
what.
I want to
that's
see
what-
TJ get hit.
Well, I feel like
Yeah, I don't like TJ.
Uriah Faber's not gonna beat TJ.
You don't think?
Mm.
I mean, back in the day, prime Uriah Faber,
Cody
maybe.
Garbrandt, Jose Aldo. That's who
Yeah.
Cody Garbrandt wants to fight.
Yeah.
You can see. I like California Kid, man. I like him.
Who?
Or,
Garbrandt?
Faber.
Faber.
Oh yeah. No, I like him.
no, but I agree with you. I see slow. Like I see.
Well, if you watch his last fight, with Faber's last fight,
Oh, against Jan.
he didn't do well at all.
Damn it.
Yeah, he had a hell of a time trying to fight Jan in his last fight.
Yeah, Jan is he's a scrapper, man.
Just bring it
Did he defeat Max Holloway? Is that who?
Jan?
Who?
No, I don't think
no.
so.
He beat Jose Aldo
Yeah, he did beat him. I think that was on a.
and Uriah Faber.
Huh.
Just get her going. So, we had. What episode was Utopia?
Episode 8.
Eight.
Yeah,
That was a good episode.
You can't have Utopia. The idea of a Utopia must bring up its counterpart, and what would that be?
A dystopia, right?
It would be a dystopia.
So is that what? So what is that? That's like everything opposite of Utopia. So is that or I don't know.
When I think of a dystopia, I think that it almost has the same definition of a utopia, but the only difference is it's like once you get past the surface, everything that's perfect has been forced to be perfect. It's not a natural, organic movement. It's something that has been, like I said, forced. There's been a couple examples. There's actually a show called Utopia that was just put out recently that has a lot to do with a lot to do with the idea of what a dystopia is. When I think of it, personally, I get the idea of a one world order, but I was talking with Logan about it the other day. There is a little bit of a difference between the two. But I think Logan, you had pulled up the other day the actual definition of
Vince has
what is
got
it
it
about.
up.
Yeah,
Vince has got it up.
good deal. So we have dystopia is a world which everything is imperfect and everything goes terribly wrong. Well, that's not the definition I'm thinking of, but usually the main
like society?
themes. Yeah. So
There you go.
information, independent thought, and freedom are restricted. A figurehead concept is worshipped by citizens of the society. Citizens are perceived to be under constant surveillance. Citizens have a fear of the outside world.
You guys know 1984, the book?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
That's a perfect example.
That's like a really good example of dystopia. I remember actually, that's the only real time I ever.
Is
remember
would you
talking
consider The
about it.
Giver? Is that?
That was
have you
good. So
read that book?
the Giver.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't
The,
read that one, so I don't know.
Read it.
So the the Giver, Aldous Huxley's A Brave New World, and 1984 are three books that have been huge in the culture. I know two of the three are actually mandatory reading for high school.
Yeah.
A Brave New
That's
World.
what I was saying. We read 1984, didn't
yeah,
we?
that's what I was saying in school.
And when you actually talk about a lot of the thought leaders of society and things, a lot of them believe that we are inevitably leading towards the kind of society that was shown in 1984 and in A Brave New World. To kind of conceptualize what I'm putting into. So in A Brave New World, it's all about losing your personal individuality rights, but being distracted by it, by kind of worthless pleasures, things that don't really last, instant gratification, as far as drugs, entertainment, sex. They kind of just distract us from what we really, kind of what our ancestors have fought for in freedom. And
Okay.
So when you're saying that, and I know you're saying that was based off that book.
correct.
Do you feel that in a sense of way right now about how our Constitution is being looked at as it's really not even in place as much as we
I think that we are headed that way. When you really think about a lot of the leading science and technology, like a big point in A Brave New World was kind of like a eugenics idea, a control of being able to choose what kind of baby you want to have, choose how many babies you want to have. And that's kind of what's going on today with CRISPR. I'm sure you guys have heard
Oh
of that.
yeah, I've heard of that.
I know like
Genetics modifications. You can pick like what color your eyes you want.
And
That's
I-
kind of weird, man.
Yeah,
And
that's kinda
VR,
fucked up.
and so going from scientific over, well, I guess technology is still scientific, but going into like an entertainment aspect, the VR. You had a
virtual
really
reality is so
yeah,
crazy.
you had a really
Oh,
good
yeah.
breakdown with the Cuddy thing. I've actually always refused to get into VR, but when I heard you explaining it, I was like, man, I gotta get into this
crazy.
shit. Dude, it
telling
sounds
ya,
crazy.
That Kid Cudi concert, man. It give me chills.
Me and Mike
man.
playing
It's like,
ping pong from across.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm here and he's in his
Yeah, that's
at
it. Yeah,
his
it's cool.
house. Like
Yeah.
we're talking and playing ping pong with each other.
I like what you
But,
said earlier with like, and it kind of, when we read the definition of dystopia, that's why we were all kind of like, huh? You said like, it would kind of look like a utopia from the surface.
Right.
If some random being came down and was like, wow, look at this order. Look at this, everyone's not doing any type of bad things because everything's controlled by this one order, this one world order, this one
Right.
person that's looked up to as a god.
Well, one thing I think, at least for me, when I thought about that word was like,
there we go.
We
Brave
look-
New World.
we live in the U.S., so like obviously that's what we're accustomed to. That's what we know. We're not familiar with how other countries operate and what their worlds are like.
Yes.
But like there's a big word in dystopian worlds that people have talked about with the totalitarianism or
Correct.
however you say
I
that.
think you
Yeah,
did it right.
totalitarianism. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Stalin.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like Stalin, but also
Hitler.
like in China, like
Oh
Yeah,
oh,
so
there's
I
a
was-
bunch of
The Mao
countries.
dynasty. Yeah.
Yeah, but like they literally government says you can only have so many kids, or
Yeah.
the government says you can't do this, you can't get online, you can't look up these things. They don't have a lot of those types of freedom, so it's like looking at it from being a person from the U.S. and we think the world looks a certain way from where we live. But then you got to think about it like, well, what about the people in China? Because I bet the people in China feel like the way they live their life in China is really not that like terrible. I mean, I know we look at it like, oh shit, I wouldn't really want to live in China.
But they don't know any different.
They don't know any different.
Yeah.
So
And
like,
also, how do we know that really is how they live? I mean, how do we know that we aren't getting any propaganda to us to make us
we
believe
are.
how
That's
great
true.
our
We are.
society is and how horrible it is elsewhere? Kind of like it said, you fear the outside world was in the definition of it.
And what do we do here in America?
Right.
Fear every fucking other country.
And it's funny, not just China is like this. There's a country I don't know if you guys have ever heard of. It's called Turkmenistan.
yeah, they're new.
Yeah, and their capital is called Ashgabat, and it's weird that none of us had probably ever heard about it, but America gave I believe $500 million to the country last year. If you were to look up pictures right now, I mean, your mind would be blown. It's it literally looks like what you think the future would look like. Not in a technical standpoint, but as far as there's massive buildings, yet there's nobody ever in the cities, they say, because it is so mass controlled and so mass surveilled, and people are only able to go out when they are needing to go to work, or almost kind of like they're
What's
in the middle
going on
of a
right
pandemic. Yeah.
I feel like we get a sense of dystopia everywhere we are, really, and I think a big part of it is with technology, kind of like you were saying. But in 1984, the guy was worried about the TVs were watching him, and these lights and all this shit was watching them. That was the way that they got through to your privacy. And here we are in our own world, thinking about how cell phones are picking up our conversations, and
the Patriot Act, where they can listen to our phone calls and text messages, emails, and everything.
It's kind of funny.
They do a big database. They can read
There you
whatever.
go.
Yeah.
how we
It's
talk
kind-
about something, and then 5 minutes later I pull up Facebook and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you were
That's
just
why-
There's your
talking about
ad.
this.
That's why
Like,
Snowden's gone, because he had to run away because he exposed the fucking
All
that they were
those
listening to
shit. They were
everything,
doing it
yeah.
without our
Yeah.
consent.
Yeah.
It's the difference between 1984 and our society, though. What's funny is, in 1984, it was almost like the cameras and everything were forced upon them. But think about the Ring. Think about the doorbell camera.
Oh yeah, my
think
mom
about-
and dad got one of those.
It's not even forced upon them. It's just
and
we're bringing it into our own home.
The Ring is actually coming out with a new product this
Alexa.
year that flies around your home for you.
Great.
Jesus.
Yeah, look forward to that in your
That's
local stores.
Yeah. that's
Terrible. No way.
I feel
Hey,
like
you wanna rob the
I
fucking
feel like
house?
a true dystopian society is based on your citizens telling on each other, though, as incentive to
Ooh.
tell on
That's
each
civil.
other.
Like mass surveillance all the time.
Yeah, where you can
where
like
we
a point
force
system.
ourselves to.
Yeah. You can move up if I tell on you. I can. It's incentive to me that I pointed out something wrong.
Then
so
you
I
blackmail.
Can, yeah.
Hey,
Right.
I'm gonna tell mom. Unless you clean all everything in my room, all the dishes.
That's
done.
an instinct
That's
too
wrong.
of humans. Like just that I have something against you, so I can gain a better reward. You know what I mean? And I can control you now. And I like how you tie that into dystopia, because if we all know we're basically fucked, how do I move up? I eliminate people. And then you're basically getting rid of your own kind, the same people that could help and
But is it still
overrule
all
this.
functioning? Oh no, it's the it's the opposite, right? Of a utopia. It's not functioning. It's non-functioning.
I mean, it's non-functioning in the sense
But
of
from
no
the
one's
outside-
Are
really
they
wanting
doing
to
it
do it.
wrong? Because North Korea is still a thing. So are they wrong? I guess.
Well, here's
We
my
don't even
example.
know.
Here's my example.
I mean, they're wrong in our view, but I mean, from their point of view, they're still functioning
Right.
as a society. So
Right.
works.
Mine is the Rick and Morty episode whenever Rick is with the planet, I think.
Wait, where he fucks them?
Yes. And they
They're all
spits out all the.
But then they start coming to and stuff, and then so everything starts to get all messed up, and
Jerry gets spit out with the unusable ones or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what they're called specifically, but they're all he's because they try to go camping.
Yeah.
Wait, that's a.
Is that a different? I think that's the same
No, it's
episode.
the same episode.
Because he becomes
What's
the
the one?
king of all.
What's the one?
dudes.
Whenever because Rick was starting to do drugs and stuff with the planet, and the planet wasn't starting to care for the civilization, and then the civilization.
The same one. I'm almost positive,
Is
right?
that the same one?
But I know which one you're talking about because she comes up and she's like, "Is it Harmony? Is that her name or something like that?"
Oh yeah, Harmony.
It may be the same episode. I just remember the God fight where he goes out and fights God. God's like,
it was he's all ripped and
was
everything.
it was some God I didn't remember.
So, Peck, after I listened to the Francis Ngannou episode of Rogan, and I like his stories, told me about,
You said Peck?
him leaving Africa, like
Peck
escaping
thing.
the different countries and like trying to get through different countries to get to the United States. Well, I was like, okay, those are like stories that Peck told me, so I started talking to him about like him trying to get from Burma and him trying to get, like, he had to go to India and then try to get to the United States. But then we also started talking about what's going on in his home country right now. I guess there's like a big, like, the military's taking over the government, I guess, and killing like whoever's against the military. It's in
Damn.
it's not called Burma anymore, it's called Myanmar.
Really?
Myanmar
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like that.
I do know
It's in
that that's
Southeast
definitely
Asia.
different.
It's down in the jungle, but he was telling me all the stories that what's going on right now. And
That's
I had
wild.
no idea that was going to happen.
Shout out to Peg, by the way. So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, he's
I
doing
got a
good,
good
I think
one
now.
for-
He's in school for robotics, like kind of what I'm doing at my work, but so
okay.
He's
talking
not
about
still
that.
in Indiana though, is he?
yeah, he's down in
He
Southern
is.
Indiana. Yeah, down in Vincennes. He goes to Vincennes University, I think, down there.
Wildest
They have like a
times with
robotics
that.
program.
Uh,
Yeah, he's doing good now.
I got a buddy from New Zealand that I can get a good example, kind of what you were talking about, where like he was explaining a big side of like the law side of when he was from New Zealand, like you could smoke and drink at like age 18, and like everything was looked at a lot differently there. You didn't have to worry about, like, he said he came over here, he smokes pot and everything, or even just cigarettes, but he's like, dude, it's crazy. I come here to the U.S. and he's like, everything was weird for him. Oh, that's the GoPro.
Oh, okay. God, we
I
didn't
don't
know
know
it
what
fucking
that sound.
red dot on
Yeah.
me, motherfucker. Fire.
We're getting too close into the truth, guys.
But it goes into that dystopian side to
Smoke
where
crack.
like the government does control us in a way. Like they say when you're the age of when you can do this, they say when you can do certain things, and it's like I said, you know, you look at it from other countries. He said in New Zealand he could smoke and drink at age 18.
Yeah.
And he comes over to this country and everybody looks at him like he's a dumb kid for smoking pot and shit at the age he is. But in his country, that's all legal. They kind of praise that, like they didn't get looked at like a dirty, wrong, bad person. But you come over to our country and it's a different scenario.
That's huge, bro.
Yeah.
It's like America trying to force American ideals and, like, you know, morals onto people where, like you just said, I came from first of all, this, you know, America's supposed to be the country of, like, you know,
Opportunity.
opportunity, freedom, minorities,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
Pursuit of
I come
happiness.
from
The melting pot.
melting
Yeah.
pot. I come from a country where our
Pot.
ways might be a little different, but you're gonna, you know, chastise me and you're gonna be upset that I'm doing. I have to, you know, conform to your ideals when this country is supposed to be a place for everyone to practice their.
I'm wanting to do better. That's why I'm coming here. You know,
Right.
I'm trying to make something of myself. I heard you guys are
The place to
wanting-
be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're trying to build here. You know.
I
But
know.
I think that's what it comes down to is all of us like just need to be unity, kind of. You know what I mean? But it
All
doesn't
come
need
together
to be.
as one.
Doesn't need
That
to be
was
a
her name,
forceful-
Unity.
Oh gosh.
I think it was all Rick and Morty. I think it was Unity.
Let's do a 7-10 break.
Let's get it 7-10.
Down 7-10.
We're in a 7-Eleven.
7-10. We're gonna run to 7-Eleven. Yes, sir. I think it's gonna be big once we get the actual physical shit, wear it, take pictures, show people like, yo,
Yeah.
see, this
That's
is
why
dope.
we do the pictures when we have guests and stuff
Right.
too. Like you'll be on our page for
Heck yeah.
when this comes out. So
Yeah,
be a
it is
shout.
cool. You guys
That
really
picture
doing
with
this
the
up?
moon like that?
You guys said that you guys have a lot of people that hit you up saying they want to start their podcast as well.
I've had a few buddies of mine say, like Brett Estes, you remember
Heck yeah.
Brett?
Yeah.
Brett wants to start his own, and he's actually been talking about it a lot. I don't know how far into it he
Yeah.
is, but You know, Aaron Renton. Aaron Renton just
Absolutely.
moved into his new house, and he's
Okay.
trying to start his own one.
Yeah, that's
He
cool.
really wants to do that. He
Yeah,
said
I
he's
think
going to
it's-
do a lot of gaming stuff, I think, with his.
I
but-
really wasn't sure how to. It took me a minute to really, we needed that, and then to run and we needed this to be able how to edit and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say how much time would you say you spend?
Editing.
yeah, just on.
Probably takes me about a day.
Yeah.
Like listening and then editing through it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And we
he-
all tell him some stuff. Like,
He's,
hey,
he's
maybe we
the
want this
OG
out.
of the podcast. I
Mhm.
mean, none of this would have been available if it wasn't for Vince.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We came up with the
Absolutely.
idea, and then Jared came back. I was like, okay, once we started, I was like, okay, we built this table, then we started.
I
putting, like,
forgot.
the-
It
the
really
stuff
was
together.
Jared coming back, and it was
built
Vince.
this table.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
Vince building it, and then it was Jared coming back, giving us that like spirit, like, "Oh shit, we got this."
Yeah, it's
You know
really
what
cool
I
that you
mean?
guys went through with it. I mean, it's cool being able to just listen to people
We
that
figured
I know.
out
I
like
listen to podcasts all the time.
we had together, like who had headphones, who had microphones,
Yeah.
and then like what all we
Just
needed
worked
to
out-
get
built
and
up
stuff
from
like
there.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's cool.
Michael brought the monitor over. I got a mount for it. I mounted that. I built this.
Okay.
I built this table. And then we started putting like all this together.
Got the pictures.
We got.
yeah, from
Uh-huh.
everyone.
I had to order a couple of these because Jared had his own. Logan had, or I had my own.
I
think you
didn't
had your
have
own.
one.
Yeah, you didn't have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jared
I had
his
the
own
mic, but I didn't have the stand.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I had wanted to start my own in the past, but I'm just not technologically savvy enough. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start with all of this. I mean, it's
Getting
I mean,
it
it
to
is
sound right.
Yeah.
it's cool that you guys let me come on.
It
and
took us a while.
just get on and
We did a
just try
whole
it out.
podcast, I remember, and it was kind of because we were trying to do video at the same time too. But that's one thing that we haven't really released was video of us yet, just
Yeah.
because we're still learning how to get the sound that we're talking through the mics right now to match up with the video that we're recording
Okay.
because of cuts and everything.
And it might almost work out better in your favor that way.
Well, we
Like I said-
recorded a whole podcast, like thinking it was all good and great and everything, and then we literally just didn't. We never came out with that
Scrapped
one. Like
it.
the very first podcast we ever tried, it didn't. We
Oh,
really
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It
needed
was
it.
Jared who said it first.
Because, like I said, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and so I've been able to hear a lot of them complain about how when they first started, how they didn't like where they were at. So it might be good that instead of just jumping in
It took us
all
a
the way
minute. It
deep,
took us a couple weeks to figure
Yeah.
out like
yeah, you guys make sure you're comfortable where you're at.
how to actually conversate and
Even-
take turns and stuff like that.
Even
Yeah.
like with the stuff like with Josh and Allison, like Josh did most of that work and everything. I'm pretty much just showing up there, giving my ideas and
Okay.
talking. I wasn't, again, not the behind the stage
Mhm.
guy like that. I don't know that type of like that savviness either.
Right.
So I just show up. But
Get
sometimes
some
I don't.
Yeah, here in a couple weeks, you guys are gonna have to do an episode alone without me. I'll be on vacation, so I gotta.
We can do that.
We'll be here.
Yeah, I
He
gotta.
said we'll be here.
I gotta show you guys how to set up, edit, and post it without me.
There's gonna be a whole guitar solo.
Hey, if you
Oh, we're missing Vince. We're missing Grit.
Where are you going on vacation at?
Bring 'em back.
PCB,
Okay.
I believe.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah! It's
Last
supposed
week-
to be
this is
good
kinda-
weather, right?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to get it, and I put in for it at work, so I'm gonna I got it off. So.
Heck yeah!
Good deal.
I'm actually just now thinking about that, and I'm a little bit worried. Maybe we need to go through this again.
We
We're
are.
all gonna come over.
Yeah,
and
we're
all
gonna.
It'll be
We'll go
fine.
through it a couple times.
Okay.
I'll show you. It's
This
not-
week, this
It's not
coming
that
week.
bad.
All right.
I'll be able to even show you guys how to upload it to the
Actually
Google
crying.
Drive, so I
That-
can even listen to it while I'm down there, and then I can tell you like, okay, hey, I want this part out.
I can
stuff
I
like
can
that.
edit in Audacity.
Yeah, he's.
Plus,
he's
I
able to figure it out.
have the info for Pro Tools.
Yeah,
It's,
he can just take the laptop.
Bronson's account, but we can still hook it up. It's
Yeah, he'll
I
just take
paid
the
for it.
laptop. I'll show you guys how to set up all this.
Okay.
We'll be okay.
All right.
All good.
So
We got it.
You
Easy
wanted to get
peasy.
back into Dystopia?
Oh yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
get it.
You guys started out. I gotta go pee.
No, that's fine.
Get it going, brother.
Yeah, I'd actually forgot that I took a little bit of notes down. So I was reading a bit of an article. I'll just go ahead and read it, and we can go ahead and see what we all think about it from there, I guess. So Aldous Huxley wrote A Brave New World. I know I've been talking about it over and over, but we'll really dive into it now. In 1931, in the shadow of the first Cold War, the Wall Street crash and the devastating flu virus that had claimed millions of lives, the Treaty of Versailles, and had carved out a new Europe, while electricity, the automobile, production lines, new mass media, and airplanes were changing the world. England was in the grip of a depression, but science, technology promised a better future, a world where disease, drudgery, and poverty might no longer exist. He predicted, for an instance, the ways which technology and the control of the powerful elites can control our decision with making, social media, pornography, commercialism of sex, advertising, and reality TV. He foreshadowed ubiquitous prevalences of drugs, legal and illegal, and how the pharmaceuticals such as Ritalin would sedate growing numbers of children. Genetic engineering, euthanasia, a national lottery, and even a corruption at the top of the world sport are all part of this nightmare in the future.
So he did, like, when we were going through like that huge boom, is kind of what he was saying, like with everything advancing at that time.
Yeah,
is that kind of what he's talking about?
And just to kind of divert off of it just a little bit, but you just had me thinking. So when you were talking about 1984, the author of that book, whenever he had written it, he didn't think that was what we were looking at. But about 30 years later, he was questioned about society, and this was, I believe, post World War II when he was questioned about it, and he thought that it was kind of going to be an inevitable thing. He said it would come at the when there was a collapse of capitalism and kind of the collapse of the Western society, which is kind of funny because it's, you know, the Western society is being attacked right now, wrong or right. So A Brave New World eschews the futuristic landscapes, eschews the flying landscapes, and technical wizardry of much sci-fi is obsessed with, and focuses instead upon a human story set in a ruthless totalitarian regime. So just as a couple examples of the differences or the similarities between the Brave New World and what's going on in society today, you know, they had talked about, you know, there was no natural reproduction in the Brave New World, and there was actually a speech given by a
no natural reproduction, as in like you didn't have sex to have kids, or like were you talking more of like a good side of thing, like with food and products?
So they actually talk about having like babies in like incubators. So
like grown.
Yeah, almost more like they are grown instead of having sex to have a kid, basically.
I gotcha.
So, and in the real world, William Herbert of Stanford, he's actually a neuroscientist, I believe, but he was talking about the reproduction things with CRISPR, and just how that you are able to actually already, you know, you can choose the sex of baby that you want. You know, I believe that there was just a study that had come out. There was twins in China that they had removed the HIV. Don't quote me, I don't want to be off, but I believe it was the HIV gene that they had taken out.
They were born with it, and they found a way. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So they found a way that supposedly, if you know you're about to be born with HIV, your parents have it, or it's transmittable in that way for whatever reason. They found, I don't know how, like Coffee's saying, so don't quote me, but they found a way that through the very, very early stages, and I think even from what I read, was that before the babies were even born, they were giving the moms certain things, like to try to get rid of that before. Like it was a big process, but like somehow they got that gene or whatever, like you said, out of them. And they said, you know, you get AIDS later on in your life, or you've had it for all this time, like they don't know how to get rid of it. Like, so if you're about to be born and you're going to have it, they supposedly know how to
neutralize it.
Pull that gene out of your DNA.
And I don't.
It's a little bit over my head. I just know that it's being done, and you know that's, you know.
Well, you also brought up how like the growing an embryo, like how we've been doing
Jurassic
that.
Park
but
type
like
stuff.
I see stuff all the time, and I know it's just social media, and I don't know anything about it. I'm not a fucking scientist, but I see things all the time where they're growing animals in the same exact scenario.
The fact that they've cloned monkeys.
Meat, bro. They're making meat from
In
just
labs,
the,
right?
just the fucking
They're like growing it.
from the taking like blood from the animal, using that DNA and making meat out of it. Do you think that like natural selection should always be the way of the world, or like, because like we're kind of looking at it negatively, but like, can't you look at it positively? Like, if we could actually stop all of these diseases and illnesses that have,
I believe we can stop a lot of diseases and shit. I think it's a monopoly type of deal where, like, I've heard I couldn't tell you amount, and it's all from older people. Nobody in our age. I'm not trying to get off into a rant here, but we have Eli Lilly downtown, right? You know, I'm talking about the Eli Lilly building. You know anything about what they actually do and what their purpose is?
They make medication.
Is it diabetes medicine?
It's a pharmaceutical company, and I swear to God, I know someone from Sheridan that was very close with the owner of the at least the Indiana place, because they have Eli Lilly everywhere. But he knew the owner and was close with his family, and he said that the owner was a super healthy, very well kept and take care of guy, and he was a genius, and he owned that part of Eli Lilly. But there was a big rumor back in, he said that I think it was early 90s or even a little bit later, because Eli Lilly's been around for a while, but he said that they found the cure for cancer.
Okay.
Like, Eli Lilly was a big thing, and that they found the cure for cancer, and then the next thing you know, this guy died randomly.
It sounds like
it was a big conspiracy deal that
Carter.
They found this cure and then they killed him.
Peter Smith.
I mean, we think everybody wants the cures to disease and everything, right?
Rothschild.
It sounds like
something
that we all think. I mean, I obviously never want to have to see people die from cancer, AIDS, any disease. Throw it out there: heart disease, brain disease, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Like, I think Logan was saying it though. It's like, what? Imagine a world where you do, for the most part, live forever. Like, there's a cure for everything. Oh, you have a heart attack, here's a new heart. But like, what if we had that technology?
On the flip side of that, though, isn't there a debate right now that we're going to come to a point where there's just an overpopulation of the Earth? So if there isn't a way for us to naturally die...
I've thought about that, too, but then I hear facts and shit, which, I mean, I can't quote.
Right now, I know exactly what you're about to say.
I watched a video that we won't go over 10 million.
If you grouped every single human being, baby even included, on the planet Earth, and set them shoulder to shoulder like we're sitting basically here tonight, that every human in the world could fit in Texas, and there'd still be half of Texas left.
There's been
so when you think about overpopulation, it's going to be the side of
I don't think it's like
not.
I don't think it's
room.
space. I think it's resources.
Yeah, we're not going to have the resources
because they say
this planet is way bigger than people think.
They say that there was a study that was just published. I don't know how long ago, within the last year, that had said, for everybody in the world to live like middle-class Americans do, there could only be 2 billion people on the planet. I mean, and just think about that, because there's already
so many people in poverty.
So, I mean, it's a quality
Third
of life,
world countries.
Like,
so it almost makes sense that what we're going through right now was bound to happen sooner or later, or in another time, and it's happened over time, multiple times. It's happened. History. It's like. And I think there's a point whenever the Earth is trying to defend itself almost against us, because what are you going to try to do if something is trying to kill you anyways?
Does that mean we should leave Earth? You know what I mean?
We just need to take care of our...
What if we're already past that? What if we're already past that point?
Elon believes that we'll have...
That's what I'm saying.
A society outside of Earth, like that, we'll be able to live in space.
Think about 1,000 years from now. You think anyone thought about we could talk to people on this little fucking device, be able to see each other? No. So it's not far-fetched.
It's Shutter Island, the time period of that movie I was just telling you guys about. And I'm not ruining anything.
Jared's taking his fucking headphones off.
This is a very, very
it's trippy.
You would barely notice this, but the time period of the movie, they didn't have TVs, they didn't have cell phones and shit like that. But one of the patients there was talking about how, because they're trapped in this, they're in a mental institution or whatever, and that's not ruining the movie, Jared. That's just the whole entire
I actually
movie.
saw that part.
You could catch that on the trailer.
He's interviewing a patient. Long story short, and the patient's like, "Oh yeah, now I hear stories about there's this box that faces and voices talk to you, and you can see them." And she's talking about a television. She had no fucking clue what a television was. And it's like we got TV up here tonight. And it's like motherfuckers back then they like.
Try to explain that to them.
Well, she said, because she's in an insane asylum, and I'm not ruining it, Jared. But
Oh
she
my
said,
God, he's ruining it.
She said, I hear enough voices now. I don't need voices coming to me through this box. You know, like she didn't. She thought it was stupid. She said TV was stupid. You know, but here we are in the world we live in. TV's fucking.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, like, do you think we're past the point of being able to save the earth if we are going at the point of how what about the fact here in 2030 or 2050 we're gonna have like double the population?
It depends on if we
well, do we go China's way like we talked about earlier, where the government says you can only
controls
have
your
this
children?
many kids?
That'd be weird.
If we harness nuclear fusion, then that's pretty much harnessing the power of the sun as an energy source, so we don't need oil, then we can just, that can power electricity plants. We have to then turn over to electric cars and everything else.
We can get into the whole conspiracy of how COVID was
it'll take a while.
Was a population diminisher, like that it was all planned.
Population control.
Exactly.
I think that's what it comes down to, is getting, because we say we want everybody to be a unity. We say we want, but that has to be kind of willingly. But then at the same time, when it comes to something like that, that's so massive that we're all living on this earth, that for the greater good, we need to take care of our earth. But I'm not saying that you need to manipulate like your people into doing it, but they're going to try to make some sort of order. And in that way, because there's some people who are going to try not to want to comply with, I'm going to throw my McDonald's cup at the side of the road. I don't care. Dude,
fuck.
What
are they gonna do?
It's recyclable,
biodegradable.
I mean, what if everything was biodegradable and it was better to fucking litter? It's like,
well, the
everything's circumstantial.
There's a building somewhere in Europe that I've read about a few times, where it's like this giant factory. This dude's a billionaire, and he lives on this, like, it's not a mountain, but it's a really high up ridge compared to everything else around him. Like, it's the only thing like that around that area.
Okay.
But he built a factory house fucking deal to where, like, they collect waste, like all your shit that goes to the dump and everything. And that factory, it's basically an island type deal. Like, this whole entire mound where he lives on and has this factory is ran completely 100% off of the waste and everything that he consumes there. Like,
consumes, like burns?
Yeah, like I don't know what type of energy that would be called, that the recycling of, but he takes all the waste and everything and has a completely clean source of energy to use through everything that he does there. I don't know much about it, so it's hard to explain, but just basically imagine all your factories being ran off of waste.
And that's what
we have all these landfills, and I know people's had that thought before with the overpopulation thought. It's like, where does all our trash go?
What if you send it into space? That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it's not far fetched.
Yeah, like Futurama. Futurama has the planet.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
We care
where
about
they
our
send
planet.
all their waste to.
Yeah, that big space
and he
ball.
builds that nose telescope where if you point it at a planet or whatever, you can smell whatever it's pointing at. Well,
Big
like,
trash.
You see that all the
space.
time in movies and shows where they send trash to outer space. They send it to another planet or whatever.
They really do.
It's like, that's cool and all, but
isn't it coming at Earth and they have to do something to deflect it? Yeah.
I mean, we already have a fuck ton of satellites going around our Earth, but we did that,
Dead satellites, yeah.
not on purpose, but like, they don't have anything to get out of our orbit. So if we send it out into space, I mean, that's not bad, right? I mean,
where's it
Elon
going?
Musk just
I
sent
think
a car out, a random car.
That's what I'm
out.
saying. He sent a fucking car. It's not like it's gonna
have we
hurt
been checking
anything.
up on that?
Yeah,
So
where's that car?
it's hit our moon.
I think it's gonna be one of those things though,
Oh,
where
yeah,
it's
that's
like
right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
we do it now as a society. We send it out there, and then if we do continue to grow, and we've talked about it growing out into extraterrestrial, but like. I feel like it's going to be one of those problems where we do it now and then later on down the years to come, it's going to be a problem. Like we deal with
prematurely
we deal with global warming and all that shit. What if we send all that shit out to space and that fucks our
actually
environment
worse.
up or something with all the
No doubt.
I don't know. I
I
mean,
wouldn't be surprised. You know.
you know what I'm saying? Like we got to worry about asteroids and everything else just floating around us. Everything that is out there. Why do we want more out there? You know?
That reminded me. Imagine having all of a sudden a new season. Like imagine if the world had just
As long as it ain't colder. I don't give a
I
shit.
just want to buy my TV and I was on HBO Max. It had Book of Eli. You know, like
Oh,
the fucking
okay.
nuclear winter and shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
What would be the new season, Jared?
You know what, man?
Is it hotter than Satan's balls? Is it colder
Dude,
than
Florida
cold, or-
humidity is a fucking season of its own.
Oh
That
yeah,
shit
that's
sucks,
true.
Combine
man.
them.
I want. Well, I'm thinking like almost something like as if it's like.
Even southern Indiana humidity fucking sucks. Have you ever
Oh,
been
yeah.
that? Like
It does.
down there.
What if ever so often, like there came meteorites
Oh, like a
into the
solar
atmosphere.
flare or
So
Like
oh,
hail.
Shit.
Like
you know
hail.
what I mean, yeah.
Oh, that'd be fucked up.
The clouds are just dark as hell.
And
There's
this
no
just
light
hap-
anymore
this
because it's just
happens
cloud
every
and
year.
ash.
Every year for a
now.
month between May and June.
It's just like this, the mass shit. You know what I mean? It's just a new way. A new
Well,
way
fuck,
of
Jared.
life.
You knew that feeling.
Have you
when
ever
were
heard
in
about
Cali
Coffee's
when
probably heard
Little
about
bit
HARP?
ashes.
fucking
yeah.
ashes falling
Yeah.
on your head?
That government controlling the
yeah,
weather.
Yeah, they say that it's supposed to be able to like
You
send
heard
a
about
bunch
that?
of like
HARP.
beam-
You've heard of
yeah.
HARP, yeah.
Yeah.
So they say that in the new conspiracy world, they say that that's kind of like the cover story of like how they control the weather. But so back in the day, there was the idea that HARP was essentially these antennas that shoot up high frequency into the clouds and
Produce
essentially
stuff?
yeah, just
Yeah.
fuck up the world. But
Here's more rain.
I remember Mike, you were actually talking about
Tornadoes.
them like spraying. I can't remember what episode
Yeah,
you were talking about, but
I'm trying to think of the movie, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And I was about to look it up on my phone, but there's a movie where this guy goes up into space and satellites control the weather.
Oh, is it Geostorm?
Yeah, Geostorm. Okay, so or it's Geo something. I
just
don't
saw
remember.
someone watching that.
But yeah, it's that same exact idea, and some people do believe this. So, like, this is a
Dude, what-
huge
well-
conspiracy that because I talked about. I know what you're talking about. In the you remember the episode where I was talking about how I feel like every year there seems to be a different insect that's just crazy
Yeah.
populated. Like every year, I feel like there's a new insect in the summertime where it's like. Why do I see so many ants this year? And the next year, it's like, why do I see so many centipedes? Why are they everywhere? You know?
What's up with all these murder wasps?
Yeah.
Coming in.
so the thing is it's not really much of a conspiracy anymore. The CIA actually, I think his name is Neil Brennan. He actually went into the UN and was talking about how that we've actually been really spraying the skies. I mean, it was a conspiracy theory forever. They were spraying, like metallic particles as far. I know aluminum, barium. There's a couple other ones though, but the idea is I don't know.
Aluminum has hexium chromium in it.
Holy
That's,
shit.
that's over my head.
Jared's like, I'm
Sorry.
gonna go to Walter
I'm
White
actually
on you.
mistaken. That's stainless steel.
What if we go the Joe Rogan side of instead of spraying all this stuff in the environment that's chemicals and stuff, he did a stand up joke. There's a skit of him where he's like, in Afghan or whatever, he's like, we send all these soldiers there. He's like, instead of going there with guns, he's like, why don't we just take fucking these big ass planes and just drop pounds and pounds of fucking
Marijuana.
No, he says mushrooms,
Mushrooms.
but he says, and then he
even
said,
better.
he said after we drop the crate of mushrooms, we'll just swarm them in a fog and haze of marijuana smoke. And he said, he's like, I'll be the first one. He said, sign me up right now. He said, I'll be the first one to be dropped
Exactly.
off on a plane and go down there and talk to him. And he's like, I guarantee none of them are going to want to fight. He's like, who wants to fight when they're all fucked up on shrooms and marijuana?
Well, it's
Yeah.
funny you said it about like fly into planes. and
Don't you
drop
be,
them shit.
man.
I don't know if you guys have heard. I think I may be way off saying the name Ho Chi Minh Trail, and is that when they had flooded? They used I may be way off by that name, but
That's like an Indian.
yeah, there was a
Really?
there was during Vietnam, or there was some war where basically America had seeded the clouds, where they had just flooded clouds basically with a lot of water so that it would rain on our enemy.
Oh shit!
Which is
Yeah.
that's used as an example.
That's fucking crazy.
Of
That's
how
crazy tactics, but you want to sit here and read this and then say the government doesn't do anything to the atmosphere?
Right.
There's no
they
fucking
literally,
way.
They literally did that for
They said,
war.
we're going to make it rain here even though it's not supposed to. You don't think they can do that other places?
That's crazy.
And so Neil Brennan had come over to the UN and said that basically they have been doing this for years, controlling the weather, and that the issue is that it comes at an expense. So for it to be good in one spot of the area of the world, it has to be crappy in the other, and so it's going to become a problem. And it's just kind of crazy that we're going back to the dystopian world, that we're actually in a world where you can control the weather.
Well, it's like, what surprised me is where's Fight Island? Where's that at?
Dubai?
Oh, Dubai, yeah. They control the weather. They fucking make it rain. Literally.
crazy.
They put
Abu Dhabi or whatever.
they put moisture into the sky and to make rain clouds.
Admittedly.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. It's like people
They
don't
make it
talk
rain
about
like
that
once
enough.
a year, I think.
Once a year it rains.
Just to give everything moisture, I guess, like
They
the rainy
admittedly
season.
say that,
Mhm.
openly say that they,
Yeah.
because they're just the richest country in the whole world, right? Are they not?
Yeah, so
But
far.
I don't think
all
it's
the
that
oil
they're-
money.
Well, their country's super rich. I don't think they top as the richest country. It's the people that live there and the society
I
there.
don't think no one really knows how much they're worth.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It was like the people that live there is like only billionaires and millionaires.
Only,
like nobody else lives there. It's like the top class of people live in Dubai, or especially Abu Dhabi. But I don't know if I said that right.
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
That's good.
That's a cool name.
Dude, you kept saying the Neil
Abu Dhabi
Brennan.
12.
You kept saying Neil Brennan, and all I was like, I was combining Dale and Brennan from Step Brothers. I just kept getting Step Brothers in my head when you said Neil Brennan.
That's fucking hilarious.
It was like,
Anything you want to shout out, Coffee?
No, I'm all good. Thanks for letting me come on, guys. That was really cool. Appreciate the opportunity.
I think
having you on, brother.
I think we need to mention, obviously, not only fucking Coffee being here with us tonight, but it is, it's fucking Valentine's Day.
Oh my God,
I
we
mean,
saved it for the end.
We had to say that at some
And
point.
plus,
So.
we never even said any, it was your birthday, Vince.
Oh,
your
yeah.
birthday just
Yep.
happened.
I'm on my Kobe year now.
Yeah,
24.
he's on Kobe.
2-4, baby.
Yep.
Here,
Yeah.
Yep. Jay's
Vince-
back this
Vince
episode.
Black Mamba.
Well, we
Like
tried
Mamba-
to convince him
Mamba
that Jay was
mentality.
back last episode.
Yeah, Dylan was trying to be you.
yeah, we
Oh
told
yeah,
him.
no, I heard that. No, I was there.
I don't know if you guys
I
are.
heard that.
Oh, yeah,
I was
you
right
were
there.
there.
Yeah.
I was here.
Did you like the
Dylan
Super Bowl
called me.
episode? Did you like the past two episodes? Have you heard of
what?
them? Did you listen to the past two?
I'm in the middle of the Super Bowl.
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah, so he watched both of them besides
Oh,
half
okay.
of the
When
last
does
one.
when does that happen?
That's
Was
about
it
an
early?
hour in. It's literally, I think you said it was like 59 minutes.
59
Well,
minutes.
it sounded like there was one like
I'm not kidding
early
you.
whenever like it kind of got quiet and you're like, oh, and it sounded like a thud, but it did it. What
I don't know. A lot of shit
had to been
happened that
something
night.
else.
Did you guys react to it?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
for
so
sure.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Mike
oh,
reacted.
yeah, Mike is like, what is going on?
Yeah, because
It was right
Vince
here,
wasn't in here, but that was literally probably the
I
funniest
walk in,
fucking
I'm like,
thing
what
that's happened on this
happened? And
podcast.
Dylan has this big fucking mark on his head.
Oh my!
Dude,
literally
he's
just
sitting right here.
He was
Just
sitting right there, bro.
Imagine fucking Logan. There's that little can, the little edibles can that we've been fucking talking about. was sitting right
I'll
here.
show you.
I'm sitting right where Coffee's sitting, and I'm talking. We're just sitting here talking like we are, and out of nowhere he just goes and just throws
just launches
this
it, I
fucking
guess.
can. It hits him right in the dome.
A can?
I didn't know it happened. I got to hear it listening back to the recording.
It's like, it's for edibles. It's not that bad.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of pop can again. Yeah.
No, it wasn't
you're
a pop
right.
can.
Like, you remember that ghost we were talking about from like episode 1? I think he came back and like possessed
It
you.
did. I thought about it. I said, that's funny, but I would never. And then I just said,
Rick James. Yeah, I did that shit.
you think I would come around and put my feet on the couch? Yeah, I remember
What
that.
did he say? Well, no, we were. It was during the halftime show, and
you'll hear our halftime show too. It's pretty good.
Dylan,
It's fucking Yellow Wolf.
we were talking about Dizzy, Dizzy Wright.
Been a lot.
Yeah. We were talking about Dizzy Wright, right? And I'm
Have
pretty.
you seen that music video yet?
Who?
It's
He's
Yellow
eating
Wolf
corn puffs, rapping.
with
Like,
whiskey.
he's all tattooed.
Whiskey is his milk. But
ooh.
we were talking about Dizzy Wright, and I literally asked on that podcast. I was like, "Do you know who Dizzy Wright is?" And then literally nobody else said anything. Immediately after, Dylan's like, "I feel dizzy." You know,
I didn't hear that.
and he was talking about
Went over
getting
my
mad.
head.
I literally lost it. I was like,
No one else heard it.
I like
Yeah.
Dizzy Wright. Dizzy Wright's good.
Dizzy Wright is good. Right
We
on.
get,
Thanks for coming on, Coffee.
Yeah, for sure.
Coffee.
we're-
Thank you,
11.
brother.
if you guys enjoyed, let us know.
Dystopia.
We got a
Dystopia.
we got a good set of guests coming here in the
Yeah,
next
we have a whole
few
lineup full for the next couple
episodes.
months.
So if you like this one, let us know. We're gonna have some more guests on, and we definitely want to shout out to Coffee, not only for being here, but he brought this topic to us tonight. So if you guys enjoyed that topic, that was off of the top of his brain. That's something he thinks about. So he's got a
That was
open
good.
brain just like all of us.
yeah, we'll kind of have to come back on.
Another thing, we just purchased some merchandise, so we will have physical copies. We're gonna post pictures. We want everyone's feedback.
Need that.
It's gonna be great. That's what I'm saying.
Need
Mr.
that.
Crewneck, Coffee Bean, he's gonna rock it.
Dr. Coffee.
Dr. Coffee.
Fuck, we may need to get a merchandise of Dr. Coffee.
Dr. Coffee on the last dab.
Dr. Coffee.
That's gonna be a mug.
Dab a day, keep the doctor away.
Dr. Coffee, gonna smoke the last dab. Go ahead and pull up the
gonna do that.
spin wheel
Let's do it.
before we get too far ahead.
That's
of
why I
us.
came.
right?
That's why I came here.
That's why he came here. He said he's feeling lucky.
We spin
Yo.
the wheel, but we know who it lands
Well,
on.
here's the other thing about the
spin
last
wheel.
dab spin wheel, because you were asking about it. This is your first time.
I have a feeling it's
I
gonna
just-
land on coffee
I
anyway.
put it
on
into
coffee.
to the world tonight.
She put his.
It landed on Nick.
like we said,
Lucky me.
he said lucky.
Come on.
Load it up,
Right
brother.
on.
We appreciate it,
All
dog.
right. Check out YouTube page, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our merchandise page on Teespring.
Be ready for new merchandise, because we do
Yeah.
have some new designs. We only have one or two up right at the moment, but we got more to come in the future.
Yes,
And
sir.
if you have any ideas of something that you guys might want, because it's you buying, let us know.
Yep. We got a new guest for next week too, so be on the lookout for that.
Take a picture with the merch, send it in.
Get a 20%
Yeah.
off.
Get a shout out from the last day.
Maybe,
Peace.
Maybe 5% off.
Later.